Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is getting tougher every single week to submit these starting lineups. We have very good teams on bye. At the same time, we have a multitude of injuries that we're dealing with. So I'm going to do my best to give you our top 30 running back rankings here for this week. And honestly, I think that we have a pretty interesting storyline that's going to be playing out with a few of these guys. But before we get into it, make sure you go down there and drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. If you have any start-sit questions, waiver wire questions, trade questions, leave them down there in the comment section. I'm going to be trying to answer as many of those as I can. If you're not able to make it out to the live stream, that's going to be your best spot. But of course, come out to our live streams. We're live every single night. That should be it. Let's go through. Let's dive right into this. Starting off tier one, we're going to have Austin Ekeler number one. Now, keep in mind, I'm watching the Monday night game as I record this video. So maybe, just maybe something happens where we have to move Ekeler down. But for the time being, hell, the man coming into this game was the running back one in fantasy. He's getting involved as a receiver, getting involved in the red zone, and a very good offense. Have no idea how he's going to do on Monday night. This game just started. Number two, we are going to have Saquon Barkley. Giants are 5-1. Barkley is phenomenal. I mean, dear God, Brian Daboll, I tweeted this out. It's like Brian Daboll is a war general that got sent to war with water guns, and somehow he is winning. Somehow he is figuring it out. This team's very interesting. Saquon Barkley's been extremely consistent. Don't love the matchup against Jacksonville. I think Ekeler is the much better matchup going up against Seattle. That's why Ekeler is one. Going three, we're going to have Nick Chubb. With Nick Chubb going up against the Baltimore Ravens. You don't love the matchup, but it is better than what he had a week ago against the New England Patriots. Four, we are going to have Christian McCaffrey going up against Tampa. Honestly, I kind of want to move him down a tier. Last week, the man accounted for almost every single yard for this Carolina Panthers offense. It is laughably bad in Carolina right now. Please save Christian McCaffrey, save DJ Moore, get them out of here. It's a horrible matchup as well going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, I mean, it's hard to get that excited about CMC this week, but at the end of the day, he is an extremely talented player. Number five, we are going to go Derrick Henry going up against the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, Derrick Henry coming off a bye week. This offensive line has a chance to rest. I think that is exciting in general. Jacksonville just had a big day running the football against Indianapolis. So I think we can have Derrick Henry as that tier one guy. Now, dropping down to tier two, we are going to go Jonathan Taylor at 6. Taylor is in that same game as Derrick Henry. Obviously, there's uncertainty on if Jonathan Taylor is going to be playing. Now, we're definitely hoping that Jonathan Taylor is going to be playing this week. He practiced both Thursday and Friday a week ago. I want to be aggressive with this ranking just as we did with T. Higgins last week, pretty much saying, if he plays, I want you to have him in your starting lineup, and I don't want you to overthink it. Now, going to 7, our guy, Breece Hall. Now, the Denver Broncos defense, pretty damn good. Like I said, I have no idea how Monday night went. But with Breece Hall, you don't love the matchup. Well, it doesn't really matter. The man's consistently seeing over 100 total yards. This Jets team's better than we expected. It looks like they are going to be able to lean on the run. I mean, they've leaned on the run heavily since Zach Wilson has taken over. And then going over to 8, we are going to go Joe Mixon going up against the Atlanta Falcons. With Joe Mixon here, I mean, really good matchup against the Falcons. We know this is a pretty bad defense. And also, the Cincinnati Bengals should be able to run this ball in the second half. Going to 9, we are going to have Alvin Kamara up against Arizona. Now, Alvin Kamara may actually be higher than this. With Alvin Kamara, what you need to be looking for is you need to be looking for the availability of guys like Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas, because if those wide receivers play, then hell, the target share is going to be down for Kamara. But as it stands, I mean, Alvin Kamara is a running back that's getting involved heavily as a pass catcher. He's a very exciting running back in general. Now, dropping down to our 10th guy here, we're going to have Ramondre Stevenson up against the Chicago Bears. Ramondre had him as a top 10 guy a week ago. He will be a top 10 guy for us every single week that Damien Harris misses. However, I am somewhat concerned that we may not have Damien Harris missing the next month. Looks like that Damien Harris may actually be back sooner rather than later. I mean, the man practiced this past week, so this will be a situation you have to monitor the injury with Damien Harris with. If Harris does come back, even if it's a great matchup for Ramondre Stevenson going up against the Chicago Bears, you will need to move him down a bit. Now going over 11, our guy, my most drafted running back on Underdog this year. We have Josh Jacobs going up against the Houston Texans. Over 700 fantasy drafts, my most drafted. I really want to root for him. I really want him to have a massive day, of course. And you love the matchup. He's been a running back one in fantasy, coming off the bye in a great matchup against a bad Houston Texans defense. Sign me up for all the Josh Jacobs I can get. At 12, we are going to go Leonard Fournette. With Fournette, I mean, pretty disappointing this past week in Tampa where the receiving usage went way down, but looks like Rachaad White, not really someone that you need to be worried about. I think you get a bounce back for this Bucs offense relatively soon. And going up against Carolina Panthers, I know we thought there was no way that this team was going to be losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers or even playing a competitive game with Pittsburgh. I think that you have most likely Leonard Fournette and the Bucs just rolling Carolina. But keep in mind, the Bucs aren't a team that will just run the ball in the second half. They'll keep on throwing it even if they're up by multiple touchdowns. Now, at 13, we are going to have DeAndre Swift. With DeAndre Swift, I think he is a great buy low guy. I mean, if you can get DeAndre Swift on the cheap, please go get him ASAP. I think Swift's a running back one rest of season. One was a low-end running back one, a high-end running back two. This week, however, because it is a very tough matchup going up against Dallas. Now, running back 14, Aaron Jones. With Aaron Jones, good matchup against Washington. We know this Washington team is very bad. We'll get to Brian Robinson later in this video. But with Aaron Jones, I think that you can go through. You can play him despite the horrendous performance against the Jets. I know the game against the Jets, it was disgusting. You wanted nothing to do with it. 100%, I agree. But I don't know. I still think you probably get a bounce back from Aaron Rodgers, even if this offense looks very bad. Aaron Jones is a really good running back, and he will be used as a pass catcher. Going over to our next guy, Kenneth Walker at 15. Walker looked phenomenal. I mean, DJ Dallas really didn't get involved at all as a pass catcher as you thought DJ Dallas would be there on third downs. But hell, Kenneth Walker got the receptions out of the backfield. Kenneth Walker looked great on first and second downs. I mean, Josh Jacobs, our most drafted running back on Underdog because we were getting him in the 7th round. Kenneth Walker, our second most drafted guy. Very excited. Now our next guy, Damien Pierce at 16. Honestly, I would bet if you ask a lot of other people where they should rank Damien Pierce, it would be higher than this. I've been trying to learn my lessons. It seems like every single week I rank Damien Pierce too low. It's an okay matchup going up against the Raiders. Please, everybody go down to the live chat. Let me know. Go to the comment section. Is this too low for Damien Pierce? Does Damien Pierce need to be locked and loaded as a running back one rest of season? Because he's looked very good over the past 2 weeks. Now our next guy, Najee Harris, running back 17. And you know what? F it. We're not going to go Najee here. Instead, we are going to be going Ezekiel Elliott. With Zeke, I mean, I did not like him coming into this season. We had him as a buy low running back a week ago because now everybody views him as a running back 3. Whereas in reality, he's probably a mid running back too, that in a non-PPR format, you should be excited about, especially with the touchdown upside if we end up getting Dak Prescott back in a few weeks. In reality, this is just about the best matchup you could imagine going up against the Detroit Lions. And also, one of my favorite player props of the week this week is going to be the Ezekiel Elliott over rushing yards at 59.5. He's hit this in about half the games so far this season, and it's a great matchup against the Detroit Lions. And of course, if you want to go check out that player prop, if you want to check out any player props, you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the description of this video in the comment section. When you sign up for Underdog and use promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Available in damn near every single state. Go deposit $10 with promo code FLOCK and have some fun. But now let's go down to our next guy in this tier, Najee Harris. With Harris, I mean, we said it last week. We'll say it again. He is gross. This offense is gross. You want nothing to do with them, but at the end of the day, you probably have to start him even if you have to lower your expectations just because the raw amount of touches, the raw volume that he's going to get in Pittsburgh, the matchup isn't even great going up against the Miami Dolphins. Like, it's okay. I think he is someone that you have to start, though, just because he's involved as a pass catcher. He's involved at the goal line. Jaylen Warren has a very small role in this offense. I don't know. I mean, especially with Kenny Pickett possibly not playing. It is a disgusting situation for Najee, as we've said. But you're going to see that a lot of these running backs have some question marks around them, including our next guy, Eno Benjamin. I mean, speaking of those player props, our favorite player prop of last Sunday was the under on Eno Benjamin at 92.5 total yards. We thought he was a must-start guy, even if we were taking the under on that player prop. I think that you probably have to go through and jam in Eno Benjamin if you have both James Conner and Darrell Williams missing. Both of them missed practice on Monday, so I think it's a real possibility that they missed the game on Thursday. And if that's the case, please make sure you're playing Eno Benjamin. Even if he disappointed a week ago, he had the amount of snaps, he had the amount of routes run, he had the carries, he had the targets. You had everything you wanted from the running back position. The fantasy points weren't there at the end of the week, but I think they probably will be this week if that volume's still there. I'm going to be a little bit hesitant with that ranking, though, because I don't know at the time of this recording officially if James Conner and Darrell Williams are both going to miss. Of course, I'll update this for you later in the week. But going over to our next two guys, Travis Etienne and James Robinson, back to back here. I mean, with Travis Etienne and James Robinson, honestly, I feel like you could maybe move them down a tier because it is a pretty tough matchup going up against the New York Giants. Giants have had very good defense so far this season. I mean, they just held Lamar Jackson in check, even if they gave Kenyon Drake over 100 rushing yards this past week. I mean, we said it a couple weeks ago. We've been saying it pretty much every week on our buy low running back video. Etienne's the guy that I want in this backfield. I think Etienne's the better player. Etienne's been expanding his role. Etienne is the pass catcher in this offense as well. So give me all the Travis Etienne I can get. Now going over to our next RB, we're going to go Clyde Edwards-Helaire 22. With CEH, obviously the issue is you're looking at a running back that is in a committee. I mean, a couple issues. He doesn't look that good either. Now, it's hard to rank Clyde Edwards-Helaire outside the top 24 running backs, though, just because inherently when you're attached to Patrick Mahomes, when you're in this Kansas City Chiefs offense, when you have the role in the red zone, you have touchdown upside, and that is going to be valuable. So I think we can rank him as a top 24 running back. I don't like the matchup against the 49ers, though. Now, our last running back in this tier is going to be David Montgomery. If you're looking at my rest of season rankings, I'm going to have David Montgomery a lot higher than this. The issue is from just a week 7 perspective, he's going up against the New England Patriots. The Patriots 2 weeks ago, they shut out the Detroit Lions, who up until that point was the number one offense in the NFL. Like, they shut them out completely. This past week, they held the Cleveland Browns in check to the best of their ability. So I think you probably have to be avoiding this matchup where we can. So I'm going to lower my expectations with David Montgomery this week. Now going over to our next tier of guys, we are going to have Tony Pollard at 24. With Tony Pollard, I mean, hell, I really like the matchup against the Detroit Lions here. That's why we were pretty damn aggressive whenever we went through and we ranked Ezekiel Elliott. And Tony Pollard is very athletic. Hopefully this offense has Dak Prescott back. Hopefully this is a better spot where you have more big play potential. You have some touchdown upside here. Next guy is going to be Raheem Mostert going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a pretty damn good defense, even without Watt here. I think that this is probably a spot where if you could, you would be looking to avoid starting anybody not named Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle in this offense, because if you look at the snaps played by Chase Edmonds this past week as well, they are expanding the role for Chase Edmonds. It's not like Chase Edmonds is just getting benched week after week after week, given the drops that he had a few weeks ago. Now, our next running back is going to be A.J. Dillon going up against Washington. Very good matchup on paper. Very bad offense over the past few weeks where both A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones have been very disappointing. I don't know. He's still a running back that's getting involved somewhat on third down, not nearly as much at the beginning as he was the beginning portion of the season. He's a running back that I want to say has touchdown upside when he's getting snaps inside the 20. But in reality, if this Green Bay Packers offense is as bad as it's been, they're averaging like less than 20 points a game. It's just so hard. But at the same time, I don't want to just sit here and say, oh, okay, well, Aaron Rodgers is never going to get better. I think Aaron Rodgers could easily get better. Now, our last guy in this tier, I already know we're going to have people down there in the comments going, oh my gosh, Mason is an idiot. How could he ever rank Melvin Gordon here? Melvin Gordon, like I said, I'm recording this about 8 minutes into this Monday night game as I watch it if I seem a little distracted. But with Melvin Gordon, I think that what we need to be concerned with is the possibility that Mike Boone and Latavius Murray turn this into a three-man committee. I am very excited to watch the rest of this game and look at the usage between Mike Boone, look at the usage of Latavius Murray and Melvin Gordon. It is going to be a tough matchup here going up against the Jets, where the Jets have had a pretty damn good defense so far this season. Now, dropping down to our next tier, we're going to go Brian Robinson at 28. Now, I can already hear you down there in the comment section going, oh my God, this guy, how is he disrespecting Brian Robinson? This is a statement ranking here, okay? This is what we did last week as well. Brian Robinson, I am rooting for him. Brian Robinson, you are rooting for him. I know every single person watching this video is rooting for Brian Robinson, as we should. We all want Brian Robinson to do well. He looked great last Thursday night. He scored the touchdown as well. But realistically speaking, he is in a three-man running back by committee in one of, if not the worst offenses in the NFL. Gibson is still seeing snaps. McKissick is still seeing snaps. The only reason Brian Robinson scored the touchdown last Thursday night is because a muff punt that got Washington inside the 10-yard line. I don't like the matchup that much either. Like, if we're sitting here looking at Brian Robinson, I want to root for him. I have him in a decent amount of leagues, and to be honest with you, I'm probably going to go through and trade him just because if you're attached to this Washington Commanders offense, unless you're getting every touch out of the backfield, I think it's very hard to ever go through and get excited about putting you in our starting lineup. I mean, remember when we included Antonio Gibson as a sell-high running back for like a month straight in our videos, we have been hyping up Brian Robinson, but I think the hype has maybe gone a little bit too far. Now our next guy, J.K. Dobbins at 29. I just don't really know how to rank J.K. Dobbins right now with his knee tightening up this past week. I don't know if this is a serious... I don't know what's going on. We're going to have to monitor the injury reports here. We're going to have to monitor what the coaches are saying and then adjust this ranking later on in the week. And now, our last guy, Jamal Williams here at 30. With Jamal Williams, yes, he's been phenomenal. He's been like a top 12 running back on a points per game basis. Now, what I'm going to be concerned about with Jamal is, A, if DeAndre Swift is back and fully healthy. B, the very tough matchup against the Dallas Cowboys as well. C, maybe we get the Detroit Lions scaling back their production as we've already discussed all season. So it's hard for me to get overly optimistic about Jamal Williams. But thank you. I truly do appreciate all the support. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something from it. If you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the video. Leave any questions you have down there in the comment section below. I'm going to be trying to answer as many of those as I possibly can. And if you want to check out that Ezekiel Elliott player prop, if you want to check out any player prop this week, if you want to get into drafts with us during the season on the live stream, make sure you go to the link in the description, the link in the comment section. Go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. But thank you again. I truly do appreciate you. And I hope you have a great day.